Hey guys, I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea what I wanted to talk about today because there is nothing to talk about. The Canucks aren't in the playoffs, they aren't doing anything. We've kind of somewhat exacerbated all the rumors that have been on the radio. For sure there's gonna be some more over the next few weeks, but I was thinking, what exactly is there I can talk about? And so I was looking at the Canucks roster, I was looking at who we have, I was looking at what we could potentially do as a team, and all these things that we have the possibility of doing. And I came across our roster, and I noticed that Brandon Sutter was still here. I know, there's no reason for me to believe that Sutter has been gone ever, because he's been here for the past 4 years pretty much. But what exactly do we do with Brandon Sutter? The guy is made of glass. This year he only played 26 games in the NHL, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 total points. Brandon Sutter has 2 more years after this one with a modified no-trade clause at $4.375 million. What exactly do we do here? I know everybody kind of knows what Sutter's been about. He's got that two-way, defensively sound game, but the fact of the matter is Brandon Sutter has just not been giving the impact that he probably could have if he just stayed healthy. And don't get me wrong, Brandon Sutter did have his second best season ever. That was just 2 years ago, 81 games played, 17 goals, 17 assists, 34 total points. That was, as I said, his second best season ever. His best season was in 2010, where he had 40 total points. Back in 2010, Brandon Sutter was 21 years old. He's 30 now. So, what do you want to do with this guy? If anything, if you want to keep him on the team, keep his contract around, cool, but obviously the big idea that everybody wants to talk about is trading Sutter, right? That's totally something we could do, right? I mean, this year on the team, Sutter barely played at all. Sure, he has an impact off the ice as a leadership character, but on the ice he doesn't really do anything. Which is why Vancouver Canucks fans frequently bring up Brandon Sutter's name when it comes to a trade. Now, we did talk about it, he does have a no-trade clause, and he's approaching a modified no-trade clause. So what exactly does the prospect of trading Brandon Sutter sound like to you? Comment down below what you think. Personally, I'll give my opinions over here because that's what we do nowadays, because there's nothing else to talk about. Just trade rumors and rumors that we can bring up and spew out of nowhere that don't have any guarantee of actually happening, but hey, fans can do what they want, right? So I'm asking you, what do you think about it? Comment down below. As for me though, I would just be fine with trading him anywhere. And for anything, pretty much too. Anything that would relieve us of that cap space, because believe it or not, 4.75, it's not bad. Sure, it's not bad, especially for us. We don't have a lot of players that we need to get long-term right away. But if we're gonna go after free agents, why would we not want to free up that space? Especially if we're going after guys who are centers, right? And even if we're not, if we go after a high-class free agent, obviously the big names, Bobrovsky, Panarin, Karlsson, would we not benefit by having that extra space? And still, it's not like we're using that space to the best that it could be, right? Brandon Sutter, despite being on the Vancouver Canucks for the longest amount of time in his NHL career, has played 188 games for Vancouver and has only amassed 75 points. That's certainly not something that you would label as a $4.75 million player, in my opinion. Especially since he has had a little bit of a better career before, yes, we will admit that. But Sutter is a guy who just hasn't really fit in here the best. As a guy who was traded for Nick Bonino, it's not terrible, especially since Bonino is not like super all-star either. But Brandon Sutter right now is just an asset that I would personally like to get rid of for, let's just say, a draft pick or something. Maybe like a 6th or a 7th or whatever he fetches. I'd be okay with anything at this point. But what about you? Because I know this is a hot topic. I know guys like Goldolbin and Goodbranson when he was here and all that, sparking up trade rumors was something that a lot of Canucks fans had their own opinions about. But for Brandon Sutter, who has generally been a ghost for most of the season because he doesn't play that often, what do you think? Any trade proposals? Do we trade him to a playoff team in the offseason so they can get a little bit more depth? But do you even argue that Sutter is not a guy who can provide depth because he's not really in the lineup? Obviously, there are many things to talk about here, but overall it's a wide spectrum, and opinions may vary, which is why I'm asking this question here. What do we do with Brandon Sutter? Personally, I think we trade him, but I don't know if that's possible. I want it to be possible, and I want to get something young, like a pick or a young prospect back, but I don't know if it's realistic. So what about you? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. To replacing that trust I sang gaming, and bye.